Sure. Hell yeah. All righty, guys. How we looking over there? Looking nice. Yeah, soon. Yeah. What's going on, Kelly? How's everybody doing? Thank you. Jules. You can talk. All right, guys, welcome to Day Drinking with Coleman, and it's a special Thursday edition. I usually do these on Saturdays, but I had to do one today because today is National Beer Day. And what would National Beer Day be without me day drinking, right? And don't get that confused with International Beer Day. I celebrated that too, but I don't recall most of it. But National Beer Day is today. Yesterday was New Beer's Eve. And I think that's significant. I didn't even drink it, and I already stumbling over my words. The significance of that was, historically speaking, it had something to do with Prohibition. I wasn't around when it happened, but I think this is when Prohibition was abolished. So they call it International Beer Day because this is the day where people were finally allowed to drink beer again without the feds being all up in their butt crack. What up, Sheila? What up, Jack? So today we're going to discuss a whole bunch of beer facts that I thought were weird. And I'm not just going to list off the beer facts like a regular, podcaster. We're going to go through these because these things were so crazy that I had to discuss and give my opinion. So we're going to talk about some beer facts, some beer history. I'm going to tell you what my favorite beers are and how I got started drinking beer, and how also today we're just going to worship beers. I want to say International Beer Day so bad, but it's National Beer Day. It's two different things. It's two different things. What up, Jack? Hey, Sheila, salud. Oh, this is awesome. And of course, I have my beer for International Beer Day. Really, Kirby? I usually do them on Saturdays. I used to do them twice a week, but now I only do them once a week. So, yeah. So, being that it is International Beer Day, I'm wearing a Beer Me shirt. I know it's probably backwards on your side of the screen because my screen is flipped so I can read the comments. But the design, as you can see, is actually the first beer that I actually tasted. Budweiser. The most popular beer, I think, worldwide, right? Not necessarily my favorite, but the numbers don't lie. People love Budweiser beer. And I first tasted beer, and it was a Budweiser, when I was a kid, right? It was one of those situations where, you know how you can recollect certain things about your childhood, but you only see glimpses? That's how long ago this was. And I remember seeing the Budweiser can for the first time, and I loved it. It looks fruity. The design of the can, it was red coloring with white and blue. It looked like a Big Shot soda or like a Coca-Cola can. And I recall, I wasn't able to talk because I was still like a toddler, whatever age that was where I can comprehend what adults were saying. I knew English words, but I couldn't say them back to them. And I remember indicating that I wanted to try the drink because I thought it was something fruity and delicious, right? Not knowing it was a beer. I'm just mesmerized by the packaging of the beer. So I'm reaching like this, and I vaguely recall a voice saying, "Don't get that baby no damn beer." And I probably was my mom. Once again, I was a toddler. I don't know. And I also recall somebody saying, "Let the boy try it." Now, that has to be my uncle. So I think I was reaching out for one of my uncle's beer cans, and he was like, "Let him try it to see how he reacts." Not to give it to me to drink, but just to taste it to get my facial expression because they thought it was probably going to be funny. All right. So I remember grabbing the beer can, and I do remember tasting it, but I don't remember my reaction. What's going on, Bobby? Today's National Beer Day. Ooh, most of you are probably at work since it's Thursday. That's the one thing I don't like about I keep wanting to say international. National Beer Day. It's on April 7th every year, no matter what day it falls on, and I don't think it should be that way. I think National Beer Day should always fall on a weekend the same way Thanksgiving only falls on Thursday no matter what it is. Just like Fat Tuesday always falls on Fat Tuesday. Thanksgiving always falls on a Thursday. I think National Beer Day, even though it has historical significance, it should always fall on a weekend so you don't have to worry about going to work the next day when you celebrate National Beer Day, like I'm doing right now. I still have to go to work in the morning, but guess what? Slip, slip, slip. Unless you got one of those cool jobs where you can drink at the job, right? And you don't get in trouble for it. So yeah, the first beer I ever tasted was a Budweiser, and I don't like I said, I don't remember how I reacted to it. But I remember, I think I started drinking beer officially when I was 23. Now here's another odd story. I actually started going to clubs around 21 years old, but I was one of those guys that went through that DARE program, and I was scared of drugs and alcohol and all that. But I do remember I did want to get a little bit buzzed. So I would go to these hardcore New Orleans clubs, right? Where it would play a lot of gangster rap music, and these clubs where you get shot for stepping on somebody's shoes. And I would go there and I would actually ask for a wine cooler. That's how much of a P I was, because I was afraid of real hardcore beer. I don't know why. I don't know where that fear came from. But I think I was inundated with all that negative stuff that they brainwash you in school when you take the DARE program about how it's the worst thing ever, and they'll see you before they see them and all this stuff. Dip a pretzel in your cold one. Wait, I don't think they have any pretzels. That would be a good idea though. If we had them. That's a good idea, Bobby. So yeah, so picture me 21 years old in a club with a bunch of rowdy folks listening to gangster rap music that would shoot you at any time. They probably sniffing rails in the bathroom. Meanwhile, I'm in the middle of the dance floor with a wine cooler, a blue raspberry wine cooler, thinking I'm actually doing something hardcore. But I think around 23, that's when I found a taste for beer. And I want to say it was a Heineken. I think Heineken, because I drank Heineken for over a decade. For a long time, Heineken was my #1 beer of choice. So much so that I had like empty Heineken bottles all over my house, and I made decorations with them. I took the bottle caps and I made Heineken decorations with the bottle caps. I kept all the boxes and I made like little cardboard castles. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom. There go Kalu. I had a whole Heineken wall in one of my houses. Like the whole wall was just Heineken boxes, empty Heineken boxes set up in a certain pattern. You know how you go to like a Wendy's or a Rouse's, and they set up the soda boxes, the cold drink packages to do like a design. You know, they set up the different colors and it looks like a picture. That's what I had, like a Heineken one on my wall, right? 10 years, Heineken drink. I still have some Heineken memorabilia at my new house, just to memorialize that time of my life. But at some point, I just switched strictly to Yuengling. And I remember when it happened. I went to one of these beer fests down here in New Orleans. Molson, Beck, St. Paul are my favorite. Oh, we're gonna run down my favorites too, right? So, and what's funny is when I made my list of my favorites, Heineken wasn't even on it, even though that's the one I've been drinking for over a decade. And I don't know what happened. Recently, I went to a birthday party, Bobby, and all they had like one Heineken, right? And I remember thinking, this was like literally last Saturday. So I remember saying, man, they got this one Heineken. They didn't have the beer that I like at this birthday party. They had all light beers. They had Bud Light. And somebody had to go run and get Coronas. But in the meantime, there was a Heineken there. And I'm thinking, well, I used to drink Heineken. So I just crack open the Heineken. And I did not like the taste. And it's amazing how I went from loving Heineken for 10 years, switching to Yuengling, and not even liking the taste of Heineken anymore. And it's amazing how the brain works that way. Because you would think, since I used to drink Heineken and I had all this Heineken stuff in my house, dartboards and all kind of stuff, that I would just, it wouldn't be, no, but I tasted the Heineken and it was way too sweet for my liking. I don't know what happened. My taste has changed. And I remember when it happened. It was a beer fest, I think the Abita Beer Fest in Champion Square, right? And that's when there's like over 150 something types of beers that you can taste. Craft beers, national beers, Abita, Pabst. At the time it was Dixie, but now it was Faubourg, and it had strawberry beers, all type of stuff. Check out Bratz. Hey, hold up, that went too fast for me. Check out Bratz, y'all, in the marinade. So they got awesome German imports. You can only get there. All right, I had Guinness. Well, no, did I have Guinness? I tried Guinness for St. Patrick's Day, but dark stouts don't really favor me. I like Pilsners, lagers, and IPAs, stuff like that. But we'll see what happens. So I'm at International Beer Fest, Champion Square. And I've been to a few of them, and I never reached my goal. So there's over 150 different types of beers, right? And they give you a map and a checklist of where all the beers are, and you get to check on this little dot all the beers that you've tasted. They give you like a little sample size, like about this size right here. And then there are water coolers all around all the tables where you can rinse out your little shot glass so you can, get the taste of the next beer. And each year I say the same thing. I'm going to taste all 150 beers, right? Have you ever had a potent Bud Ice? Yeah, I've drank Bud Ice. They're kind of excited. They're kind of on par with a Corona for me. And I do like Corona. I drink Bud Ice in a pinch, but Bud Ice kind of has the consistency of a 40 ounce, like to me, like a King Cobra or a Colt 45. There's like this acidic element to it. You know what I mean? So I'm at the beer fest. I'm checking off all my little beers. I tried a beat of this, a beat of strawberry. I tried this crap. I tried juice, all the different types of beers that they have. Never once, as many beer fests as I've been to, never once have I actually tried all the beers that were available, and I'm disappointed in myself because at some point, I just stopped caring. At some point, I'm just like, man, you find the one that you like and you just keep going back to that one. And I remember one particular year, I tried Yuengling for the first time. Never heard of it, which is weird because Yuengling is America's oldest brewery, right? Been around since the 1800s. So you would think I would be familiar with Yuengling, but all of a sudden I had Yuengling for the first time. Loved it. Have you tried Budweiser Shalata? I've never even heard of that. Shalata. Am I pronouncing that right? Shalata? Bud Light Shalata. It sounds like fancy. Hey, Lori, how you doing? Howard Hughes in the house. And then ever since then, I've been drinking the Yuengling. Don't even like Heineken anymore, right? And what's funny was I never saw Yuengling in stores until after that beer fest. It's like one of those things. You ever had a friend, or you got a new phone, or so you're not in jail no more, Facebook jail, because they can't identify you. That's what it is. All right. So you ever had a friend that bought a new car, whatever kind of car it is, and all of a sudden you start seeing that model car when you go places, like, oh, that looks like my friend's car. Meanwhile, your entire life you never even paid attention to that model car because you had no connection to it. That's how Yuengling was for me. Like once I had Yuengling for the first time, then I started seeing like Yuengling in the stores. I started seeing like Yuengling advertisement. It's like, wow. It just all of a sudden just popped out of nowhere. You're the cutest dude. Stop it, Lori. I'm not the cutest. I'm close, but not the cutest, right? Right. All right, so here's another interesting beer fact. Even though I drink Yuengling the most, Yuengling is not my favorite beer. Trippy, right? I do have a favorite beer. I have my top 5. Yuengling is actually number 2. I love Yuengling, don't get me wrong, but it's not my favorite. However, my actual favorite beer that I like, I only drink on special occasions for some reason. Even though I love it, I love the taste, even though it's my favorite, I only have it when I'm out doing something special, like I'm at a poetry club or I'm at a comedy club or I'm across the river or I'm on Bourbon Street. On a regular day, I just drink a Yuengling. But I feel like when I'm out and about, boom, I go to my favorite. So I'm going to list my top 5 favorite beers. And I'm not sure, but I think you have it. Thank you. See, Lori's paying attention. Hey, can I get another shot when you get a chance, Julie? I got to take a shot for Lori. Thank you, Lori. You made me blush. I know you can't tell, but my cheeks are actually rosy. Look at this. I've been doing squats too, Lori. Lori made me blush. Good job. See, that's what I'm talking about, Jules. Somebody actually gave me a compliment on my ass. I don't never get compliments on my ass.
How does she compliment your ass? She can't see your ass.
She probably saw it before. You never know. But I have been doing squats, Lori. Thank you. Thank you. That made me blush. I know you can't tell with my cheeks.
Your nose is a little red.
It is? Yeah.
Black people blush too.
As long as it ain't brown. It's not a brown nose. All right. Salute. Oh. For those who don't know what Lori's talking about, I complain that women never compliment me on my. I know it was a joke, Lori. I was joking with Jules. I got you covered, Lori. I got you covered. I got you covered, Lori. Let's put it all on day drinking so everybody can know what's going on. All right. So what Lori's talking about is I made a video complaining that no women actually compliments me on my body. They only compliment me on my creativity, on my talent, on my intelligence, on my speaking voice. My radio voice. Oh my God, you have such a silky smooth voice. But I've been trying to work out, getting my guns right, getting my thighs right. But when I walk around in public, nobody actually compliments me on my body, and I felt unpretty. But that's beside the point. That's a story for another day. What up, Buster? So let's go back to the National Beer. If you're just joining Day Drinking with Coleman, we're talking, today is National Beer Day, so we're going through some beer facts. I went through my beer history, how I switched from Heineken to Yuengling, and now I said that the beer that I drink the most, which is what I'm drinking right now, is a Yuengling. It is not my favorite beer, which is kind of weird. Here's another fact about me. I have them all written down just so I don't forget. I can't drink light beer. I refuse to drink light beer. If I'm somewhere and the only beer they have available is light beer, National Let's See Coleman's ass day. We're gonna meld those together, Laura. You think I'm joking? Well, watch. I'm gonna be all assed out by the end of the night because I'm gonna be so drunk. So when it comes to like Michelob Ultra, Heineken Light, Coors Light, I just can't do light beer. And it's something about the taste of it. Now, I've tried, because light beers actually sponsor a lot of good stuff, a lot of good festivals, a lot of good events, and they do. Wait, calm down now, Lori. Calm down. And even Yuengling Flight, I just can't drink light beer. And if I'm ever somewhere and all they have available is light beer, I am not going to drink it at all. I'm not going to drink at the event. If you don't have I would take the worst real beer ever before I take the best light beer ever. All right. Also, another fun fact about me and beer, I have no idea how much any of my favorite beers cost because I always tip. I don't know, like right now, I've been drinking this Yuengling at this bar for I don't know how long. Long time. Still don't know how much a Yuengling costs. Don't care because no matter what the tab is, I always tip. Therefore, I can't tell you how much of it is their tip and how much is actually the cost of the beer. But I do know that in America, beer is taxed out the wazoo. It's something called a sin tax. A sin tax is where the federal government feels like they can tax you because of a sin that you're committing. And they consider vices like drinking, smoking, and all that. They consider that sin, right? I'm quite sure they get hit in Las Vegas because prostitution is legal in certain parts of Nevada. And I'm quite sure they're getting taxed because of that. Boom, tax. So yeah, the price of beer would actually be 40% less if it wasn't so taxed hardly. So here we go. My top 5 beers of all time. All right. I'm gonna go from 5 to 1. My 5th favorite beer is Modelo. I know you've seen the Modelo commercials where they have like the inspirational music, and then they have like a guy who does like tattoo art or builds a car or knows how to fight or something. And a commercial goes ooh, or something like that. I can't sing, but that's how the commercial sounds. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's my impression of the Modelo commercial. All right. There was a radio personality here in New Orleans, Eddie Edwards, country guy. I gave him his first Modelo, right? And when I gave him his first Modelo, he transferred to Modelo, ended up being his favorite beer. A couple months later, he told me about it. He said, man, you're the one that gave me that Modelo that time. I said, yeah, that's been my favorite beer ever since. So I think I did something kind of cool right there, right? My number 4th favorite beer is Corona. Body glitter. That beer, body glitter, man. Yeah. At least somebody appreciates my beard, because I know some people who hate my beard. Jules. Say they can't stand my scruff. All right, so there's Corona. I just like the way it tastes. Nothing special about the Corona. I do drink it on Cinco de Mayo. I will be drinking it again on Cinco de Mayo. But other than that, there's nothing special about a Corona, you know, as far as like a history goes. Like, I don't have a story about it. It's just that it tastes great, and I don't have all my other previous beers available. I'll drink a Corona. It's just a great beer, right? No relation to the coronavirus whatsoever. I remember the jokes about when COVID first came out. It was Corona. I know it was bad PR, but I still drink Corona. I'm going to drink it on Cinco de Mayo. I actually had to drink that at a birthday party recently because they didn't have the beer that I prefer. So number 4 is Corona. Because it tickles the... You're about to get me in trouble, Lord, because it tickles. I'm just going to say it that way. My number 3 favorite beer is Abita Wrought Iron. And that is a... What up, Luke? Abita Wrought Iron is an IPA. And I understand that IPAs are an acquired taste, but I love IPAs. That's an India Pale Ale. And here's the history with the IPA. The reason it's so hoppy is because during transport, the hops keeps hot beer fresher for longer. All right? So there was this transport ship that would ship something from Africa to Europe. But the beer would always get stale. The beer would always get sour. So what they would do is they would hop it up. They would put extra hops in the beer. It was from India Pale Ale. It was going from India to Europe. India, around the African coast to Europe, which is a very long trip if you don't have a Panama Canal type thing like we have between the Americas, all right? So they didn't have that. India would have to go around the African coast to Europe on a boat for this certain type of transport, which means it took a long time, which means the beer would go bad if it was brewed regularly. So what they figured out is, these geniuses figured out, if you add extra hops to the beer would last longer while it was hot, because they couldn't have a cold storage like we do now with refrigerators, right? So they hopped it up, India Pale Ale, and it tastes awesome when you brew it right. And Abita Wrought Iron is the IPA, and I love that extra hopping. People hate it, but I love it. Lori's wilding out today. Lori's wilding out. Hey, I'm not saying no, I'm just saying. Let's wait till the day drink is over. You know this is my job, right, Mr. Hughes? She trying to get me in trouble. All right. Beer number 2. All right, we have my second favorite beer. It is the one I'm currently drinking right now. It is Yuengling. Yuengling is my second favorite beer. Even though it's the beer that I drink the most, even though it's the beer I currently have in my refrigerator, even though I have a lot of bottles of Yuengling and I drink Yuengling more than anything else, it's still not my favorite. I only drink my favorite in little quantities. So here it is. My favorite beer of all time. The beer that I love the most, that I'm going to reveal on National Beer Day. And feel free to tell me what your favorite beer are so we can compare and contrast. What is your favorite beer? I'll tell you mine right now. My favorite beer of all time is Lagunitas IPA. It's another India Pale Ale, and I love Lagunitas. However, Lagunitas is only available in certain places here in New Orleans, but I love it. I mostly only drink it on weekends instead of during the week. Yeah, so your day drinking is limited to your favorite beer. Well, no, I drink other beers on day drinking, depending on the day. Like Cinco de Mayo, I drink Corona, whatnot. But yeah, IPA, Lagunitas. I drink at the Ugly Dog. I drink it at the Howlin' Wolf. Lagunitas, Lagunitas, or Yuengling. You mean Lagunitas or Yuengling? I can't spell Yuengling because there's a U and an E and an N. I can't spell it. Yuengling. Yuengling. Why do I feel like I'm at a spelling bee? I can spell Bud, B-U-D. Right? But those are my 5 favorite beers. Modelo, Corona, Abita Wrought Iron, Yingling, and Lagunitas is my absolute favorite. I refuse, like Halua, I refuse to drink light beers. Now, you might be asking, well, what if you go somewhere, Smiles Coleman, and your favorite beers aren't available? All right, well, here are some of my backups. I have them written down so I don't forget. In a pinch where I don't have Yingling or anything like that available, I'll drink an Abita Amber, which is pretty cool. I'll drink a Red Dog. Now, Red Dog is cheap smut, and Red Dog is the first beer that proved to me that there are different types of drunk. When you drink different types of beer, when you drink different types of alcohol, you do have a different type of reaction. I thought all alcohol did the same thing, but it doesn't. Different alcohol actually make you respond different. Every time I drink a Red Dog beer, I completely respond differently. Like my behavior and all that is different from when I drink any of the other beers. I can't explain it. I don't know what they have in Red Dog, but for some reason, Red Dog makes me more aggressive and more hype. I don't know why it works, but I find myself getting louder when I talk. I find myself getting more confrontational. Like, if I drink a Red Dog, it'll be bad for everybody at the party. Like, I get wild, and I don't know why, you know? And I heard them say, like, when it comes to liquor, like, cheap liquor does affect you differently from expensive liquor, which is why there's a price difference. And I've experienced that. That's not a lie. Like, when I drink cheap liquor, it does make me feel different than when I drink top shelf liquor. You might think it all tastes the same, it's the same thing, but it's not. I don't know what the difference is. I'm not a brewer, and I'm not one of those guys that make alcohol. I'm not a moonshiner, but for some reason, expensive alcohol makes you react more tolerable than the cheap kind. The cheap kind will have you all out of sorts, and I don't know the science behind it. I wish I did know, but I don't know. All right. Also, a Rolling Rock is an acceptable beer. The reason I like Rolling Rock because it has no flavor. If you have a friend that does not like the taste of beer, but they want to experience what beer is like, Rolling Rock is your best choice. Rolling Rock tastes like water. Rolling Rock tastes like Aquafina, but it still has the properties of beer. How they do it, I don't know. It's magic. But if there's a beer you don't like, or you don't like the taste of beer, but you want to experience what beer is like, I highly recommend you start off with Rolling Rock. Rolling Rock has no taste whatsoever, and that's absolutely perfect for anybody who wants to try beer. And then Pabst Blue Ribbon. That's another acceptable one. All right? So now we're going to go through some beer facts. This is National Beer Day. What up, Rose? Oh, I'm sorry. It's Rose and Tim. How you doing, Rose and Tim? We're going to go through some beer facts. It's not, if you're just joining Day Drinking with Coleman, it is National Beer Day. So we're just running down some beer history. We're running down some beer facts. We're talking about our favorite beers. I'm still waiting to tell you what, I'm still waiting on you to tell me what your favorite beer is. I know Laura's is all about the rum. She's not even drinking beer. So Matt, Rose, Tim, if you want to share what your favorite beer is, now's the time. Jules is I was about to ask for another shot, another beer, but she's messing with the casino man. All right, so here's some interesting beer fact. Okay, Laura, what's your question? Hey, Matt, how you doing? Pabst Blue Ribbon, Luke? What were you drinking when I saw you at the Irish Channel? Were you drinking Pabst or were you drinking something Irish-based? Hey, Jules, I get another shot and another beer, too, if you want to. You're doing such a great job, by the way. All right. Yeah, for the Irish Channel, I was drinking Jameson, and I don't usually drink Jameson. It was a green PBR. All right. So you was drinking your favorite beer, but it was green. They tried to get me to drink a Guinness, but I couldn't do it. I don't like dark, and I don't like stout. You know, so Guinness was out of the question. I'm over Pilsner guy. So here's some beer facts. Now I haven't written down so I don't forget because I knew when I do these day drinkers. All right. So beer dates back to 5000 BC. That's when historians found the first evidence of fermented hops in beers. 5000 BC. Now, I don't know why time works this way, but when you get to that little crossroads between AC and BC, AD and BC, time goes backwards for some reason. Don't know why that works. So, think about 0 AD, all right? It's 2022, so go back 2,000 years plus 22, then add another 5,000, that's 7,000 years. Beer has been around for 7,000 years. 7,000. That's before any of us were born. They were smart. Yeah, I looked this up. I do research before I come on here and do the day drinking. I just don't. Yeah, BX. No, not BX. BC. Yeah, 5,000 BC in the Middle East. They don't know whether it was Iran or Egypt. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
You could have used the same one, but I appreciate it. All right. All right. Now, here's another interesting fact. The first beer brewers, the first people to brew beer, were women. How about that? Now, here's the thing I don't know. That's just the historic fact that the first people that brewed beer were women. The thing is, I'm not sure if the women who brewed them were allowed to drink them, because you have to understand it was 7,000 years ago, and this was in the Middle East. All right? So, even though the women were responsible for brewing the beer, I'm not sure if the women were allowed to drink the beer that they were brewed because of how the rules were different back then. All right? Which is kind of a shame when you think about it. I'm not saying I know that for a fact. The only thing I know for a fact is the first people that brewed beer were women, but I don't know if they were allowed to drink it or not. I'm quite sure some of them snuck a few. The first actual brewery, though, dates back to 1040. All right. Now, I don't know how that works, because how could you have a brewery at 1040 but beer was being brewed? I guess they just mean like the location. All right. Here's another beer fact. The world's most expensive beer costs. All right. If you had to guess what the most expensive beer costs, what will you guess? Before I give you the answer of the world's most expensive beer, without Googling it, what do you think the world's most expensive beer costs? I'll give you a second. I'll play the Jeopardy. Boom. All right, so Doc has $80 a glass. Luke has $85 a can. All right. The world's most expensive beer cost $503,300. That is 6 digits. 503,000 with a comma, then 300. $500,000. It's a beer called Snake Venom. And it was brewed in the 1800s for people taking a trip down in Antarctica. Now, you might be thinking, why is that the most expensive beer? The alcohol by volume for Snake Venom. Picture this, like the average beer in America is about 3% alcohol by volume. 4% alcohol by volume is the strong side. Snake Venom is 65.7% alcohol per volume. That's 6.7 with a dot in the 7, then the percentage mark per volume. It's the world. Not only is it the world's most expensive beer, it's the world's rarest beer. It was brewed for expeditioners that was going to Antarctica to do some research, and it's the strongest beer that was ever brewed. And that's why it's worth $500,000. I can tell you right now, I do not know how long I'm going to live on Earth. I am not buying Snake Venom. I would love to try Snake Venom. I would love to drink it to see what it tastes like and see what the hoopla is about. but I'll be damned if I spend money on snake venom. More national beer facts. But this is a cheap one. People that was taking a trip to Antarctica. It was in the 1800s, right? They needed beer that could survive the trip. Because we was talking about the hops earlier, Doc, about why IPA was very hoppy. That's because hoppy beer can last longer in hotter weather. So whatever they brewed snake venom with was supposed to survive the trip of the extreme colds going to Antarctica, so the people can do the trip without the beer going bad or losing its staleness or alcoholic value or evaporating. But they didn't have a refrigeration like we do. They couldn't bring an igloo cooler down there. They wouldn't need an igloo cooler in Antarctica because it's so damn cold. All right. Now this is the fact that I thought was a cop-out. It says, China consumes the most beer as a whole. Now, of course it does, because China is the most populated country. They should have did this per capita. I don't like these numbers. China consumes the most beer as a whole. Of course they do. There's a gabillion people in China, right? But I don't think that's, I don't like that fact. Here's another one. Beer pong was invented in the 50s. I don't know if they mean the 1950s, the 1850s, or the 1750s, but beer pong was invented in the 50s. Now here's my thing. I do not like beer pong. It's stupid. It's a dumb game, and it kind of defeats the purpose of what beer is for. I don't like adding activities to my beer drinking, because I feel like beer drinking is good enough. You don't have to add extra to it, all right? And when you do add the extra to it, it takes away from the concept of drinking a beer. You know what I love to do with my beer? I love to sit down. I love to take my beer, and I love to, That was so beautiful. Good. Don't. It's a waste of time. You know, I see these videos of people, they have like a slip and slide, and they have like a wiffle ball, and then they try to hit the wiffle ball, then run down the slip and slide, and then they drink a beer, then they try to run and go into like an inflatable pool. It's like, why can't you just sit your ass down and drink? Why do you have to add all this extra stuff with the beer? Don't waste the beer like that. And the thing is, the people's hands are on the ping pong ball when you play beer pong. So that means when the pong ball goes into the beer, all of that stuff they got on their hand goes into the beer too. So now you're drinking all of their hand germs. I don't think that's cool either, right? You don't need to add an activity I'm not the type of person to drink a beer and do something active. I like to drink a beer and chill. Supposed to be relaxing and thank you, John. You're supposed to relax and drink your beer. Just do the you hungry drink on the side of the road. Yeah, all right. There's another story. Drinking outside. All right, Luke. So, you know how weird it is when you're in the city of New Orleans and you at one of these corner restaurants like Ernst Bar, or you at Lucy's, this retired surfer bar, and you decide to sit outside. The thing is, when you sit outside, you are on the corner of a major vehicle thoroughfare. And there's been times where I've been trying to enjoy my beer on one of these corners because the people I'm with want to sit outside to enjoy the weather. But then like a car passed by with the exhaust pipe spitting all the smog all up in my beer, and I end up having to cover my beer like this. They eat outside like that in New Orleans. Like if you outside eating on the corner, they'll just sit there and eat whatever they order, and then like a car would pass by and all the exhaust fumes would go up, and while they're smelling the exhaust fumes, they're sitting there trying to eat it. I can't do it. I like to drink inside where it's sheltered, so that stuff can get in my beer. I've seen that here in Texas. People, right? I need to drink my beer. I need to relax, drink my beer inside a shelter. Family reunions and stuff like that, barbecues, I give a pass to because they're usually in a park or something like that where the traffic is very low. However, I still don't like the flies buzzing around, right? But I'm not an outside person when it comes to my beer. I'm an inside snob. Salute. Got some more beer facts for National Beer Day. By the way, we're talking about what our favorite beer is, so be happy to share your favorite beer. I didn't ask for an IPA with little hints of unleaded premium. Ooh, look, the worst IPA I've ever tasted was Jucifer. I don't know why. It has this orange kind of taste to it, and I hate that fruitiness. I hate, I'm gonna tell you, hold on. I don't really like mixed alcohol. So I remember in the 90s when Tupac was hot, you know, they had the Alizé, like the Thug Passion, where they mix alcohol with something else fruity. Can't stand it. You know, right now at the bar I go to, they do this thing called a Jger Bomb. Bougie beer, bro. You damn right. A bourgeois. I'm sorry, it's French. A bourgeois beer, bro. Yeah, I'm a beer snob. And the thing is, my tastes are so simple. I just like the best. Sorry. So they mix Jaeger with Red Bull. They call it a Jger Bomb. No. Gin and juice, right. Gin. I'd rather my gin straight up instead of gin and orange juice, John. Sipping on gin and juice. You're right. In the 90s, the mixed alcohols was so popular. You know, you had your Thug Passion, your Alizé and this. You know, I like all my alcohol straight up. Here's why. Because we call that sneak 'em up juice. It's an alcohol that tastes so great, you forget about the potency of the alcohol that you're drinking. And I got caught up with that for a little while with these Texas Craft pickle shots. The Texas Craft pickle shots is vinegar, pickle juice, and vodka. But it tastes so great because of the pickle taste, if you like pickles like I do, you forget that you're drinking vodka. So I would double knock them down, forgetting that the vodka was getting into my system, and I would end up getting splashed, right? So now I drink alcohol straight up so my body can have an indicator just by the taste of where my limit is. I drank straight up alcohol without mixing it because I drank responsibly, believe it or not. Because if I didn't drink, if I drank it like with a gin straight up, if it's a good one, flavor. Well, it's kind of like what gin, vodka, well, rum is good. I ain't gonna lie, rum is good. But gin, vodka, and Jaeger, even though I drank Jaeger, they don't really taste good to me. I just drank it because it gets me where I want to be. Straight gin tastes horrible, but I still drink it straight. Just like Everclear. Everclear tastes horrible. It tastes like rubbing alcohol, but I still drank it straight. Because I know when I drink that, I gotta limit myself. Sipping, yep, sipping on gin. And look, Luke, not even sipping, shooting. I shoot the gin. I don't sip. When I take a shot, I take the shot. I don't BS myself. I go straight for the head. Whoop, like that. Pine tree flavor. All right, what other beer facts we got? Oh, this is an interesting beer fact. Check this out. There's something called the Code of Hammurabi. I don't know what country this is. Hammurabi sounds Middle Eastern, maybe North African. But it was a decree that said that if you watered down your beer, you would be executed. If you watered down your beer, you would be dead. That's how, I don't know where this is at. I'm gonna have to do some more research on it, but I would love to live in that country just for that rule alone. You mean to tell me if somebody play with your beer, you're gonna kill them? I agree. Don't play with the beer. Do not play with the beer. Don't water down your alcohol or you will die. I'm just joking. No, that's really a real fact. I just don't know. Beer can remove crawfish smell. Yeah, it does. It does. You're absolutely right, Doc. All right. I found this one interesting too. There's this thing called the Wife Carrying World Championships. All right. It's when a man has to carry his wife a certain distance. Like pick up his wife and carry the wife a certain distance. The first place prize for the wife carrying contest is the wife's weight in beer. So the winner of the contest, what they do is, let's say you have a wife and you carry them. I'm carrying my wife, and I make it to the finish line. they will weigh the wife, and however much the wife weighs, that's how much beer they will give the guy. That's in Scotland? All right. And at first I was excited about that. Like, yeah, you carry your wife's weight. But I'm thinking the winner of this competition has to have the lightest wife. It would be cool if, like, you have a big bone woman, like I love thick women, right? So it would be cool if I'm able to lift my thick wife and I'm going boom, 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 and she weighs over 200 pounds. That means I get 200 pounds worth of beer. But I'm assuming that in the actual real event, if your wife weighs 90 pounds, of course you're gonna get to the finish line better. She only weighs 90 pounds. I wear a weight vest when I work out, 40 pounds plus the weight that I use to squat. So 90 pounds is nothing. If I had a 90-pound wife, yeah, I would blow through that bitch. But you only get 90 pounds worth of beer when you win, right? Now, if I was able to carry a 200-pound woman across the finish line, if I got married to a 200-pound woman, boom, and I'm carrying and I won, I get 200 pounds worth of beer. And I think that's the trick. They know, the people that made up this contest, they know that the winner of this contest was going to have a frail, anorexic, rib cage showing wife. Which is why they made that stipulation. Hey, whoever wins the wife carrying championships gets to have their wife's weight in beer. Well, if your wife weighs more, you're not going to win. If your wife lays west, if your wife weighs less, you have a better chance of winning, especially if you're a bigger dude. I can carry a 90-pound woman across the finish line, but who wants 90 pounds worth of beer where you can get a thick, curvy woman with some meat on her and carry her across the finish line and get 200 pounds worth of beer? I have never heard of the wife carrying championships until today when I was doing research for my national day drinking. Salute. I think this is my favorite fact right here. Check this out. This was a phrase coined in the 1900s. I'm going to assume this happened before I was born, and I'm surprised that they don't use this term anymore, right? There's a phrase, this is beautiful, and I think I'm going to steal it since nobody's using it. It's called, it's a name. It's called Alca Holiday. They mix the word alcohol with holiday. An Alca Holiday. And an Alca Holiday means it's just leisure time that you spend drinking. Whenever you sit down and you chill out and you have a drink, it's called an Alca Holiday. Why don't people use that? That is so awesome. I'm taking that and I'm putting it a part of my verbal lexicon right now. Whenever I start drinking, I'm going to tell people I'm having an Alca Holiday. And that is genius because of its simplicity. Some of the best ideas in the world comes from the simplicity of it, right? I seen the commercial today before I came here to start day drinking, and I forgot, what was the commercial? It was like an insurance commercial about driving, and the catchphrase was, "We're going to drive you happy." I think it was a car sales commercial, right? Somebody trying to sell you cars. And you know how people say, "I'm going to drive you crazy"? This car sales commercial says, "I'm going to drive you happy." And I remember chuckling to that because it was so simple that it was beautiful. I'm going to drive you happy. And I laughed like that was genius. That was completely genius. Simplicity is sexy. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Like, there's no reason to complicate anything. Thank you, Jules. I said thank you, Jules. And thank Brian too. All right. So, when I heard the term Alca Holiday, a phrase that came out before I was born, I am so surprised that it did not stick. We, us, the day drinking family, the crew of Coleman, we're going to start using that. Anytime you have a drink, you're having an Alca Holiday. We're going to make shirts, an Alca Holiday. We're going to make shirts, we're going to merge it, we're going to make money, we're going to make this day drinking thing the best thing it ever is, and we're going to center it around the phrase or the word Alca Holiday. Genius. All right, what else we got on National Beer Day? I found this one to be pretty interesting. the builders of the Great Pyramids of Gaza in Egypt, which is kind of cool. I just saw them on this Marvel show that I'm watching right now called Moon Knight, and it's centered around Egyptian gods, right? And it showed the Great Pyramids of Gaza, the 3 of them in Egypt. The builders of the Great Pyramids of Gaza were paid a daily ration of beer, right? That means every day they worked on the pyramids, they got paid in beer. Now, here's why I find that interesting. If you ever watch these ancient alien shows or whatever, they always tell you, we don't know how the pyramids got built. Or we don't know what tools they use, and they always say, like, the aliens built the pyramids. My thing is, well, how is that possible? How do you not know how the pyramids were built? How do you not know what technology you use, but you know that the people who built them got paid in beer? You know, there's so much confusion about the pyramids. Somebody said, this is a Louis C.K. joke. Louis C.K., I know he has a rough time right now, but he's still one of my favorite comedians. They said they don't know what tools they use to build the Great Pyramids of Gaza. He said maybe it was a whip. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Kind of. That proves to me that they know that the pyramids were built by people and not aliens. And I watch Ancient Aliens not because I believe in aliens and all that, but I just like to see how far they go with their speculation. Simple is better, you're damn right. Love simplicity. Don't overcomplicate stuff that don't have to be complicated, especially when it comes to drama. All right. What other national beer facts we have? Check this one out. Fried beer. Fried beer. Won most creative fried foods at the 2010 Texas State Fair. Oh, you like? Look, John, before we move forward, even though I don't believe in aliens myself, like, I believe that the possibility that aliens exist, but as far as like they're visiting us and they're doing like cattle mutilations and crop circles and all that, I don't believe that part. But I love the show. I love watching it. I love it. I look for it. Like, I actually look for it. You know, and I think it's very interesting. But just because I love it doesn't mean I agree with it. Like, I just like the entertainment value of it. Especially that one guy with the weird hair and the astrophysicist guy. It's a beautiful show. I like it. Oh, there you go, Lord. So yeah, I didn't even know you can do fried beer. So fried beer, that must have been one hell of a P in your big rig. So yeah, fried beer won the most creative food at the, how do you fry beer without it evaporating? That's what interested me about this particular fact. How do you fry beer without it? Because I'm thinking to myself, oil and water don't mix. If you try to like boil water or fry water, the water would evaporate, all right? The water wouldn't last in the grease if you tried to fry it. And beer is 90-something%, more than 90% water. So I would assume that if you tried to fry beer, the beer would evaporate. Or wait, now that I think about it, you know what? It could work. If beer is 90-something% water and you tried to fry it, the water elements would evaporate, but the other elements, as far as like the ferment, the hops, it would still stay intact. So it's probably possible to fry beer. I just blew my own mind. It is probably possible to fry beer. I'm going to have to look this up. I'm going to have to research it to see how this process works. I'm still skeptical. I still think if you tried to fry beer, all the good parts would evaporate. But if this guy won a contest because of fried beer, wow. That would take a lot of... You're right. But I'm going to look it up. I really do. You want to know about aliens? We'll talk about it. I got one more fact left, then we can talk about whatever the hell you want. Salute. All right. So here's my final beer fact. on National Beer Day. Thomas Jefferson wrote parts of the Declaration of Independence in a Philly tavern. Yes, parts of the Declaration of Independence were written in a bar. And I completely agree with that. Some of my best work, like these day drinking videos, comes to you from a bar. I do stand-up comedy. I also write poetry. I also write raps, songs. I also ghostwrite for other people. Now, I'll be honest with you. Some of the best material ever came up with either came to me while I was at a bar or they came to me while I was sitting on the toilet. I don't know why that's why inspiration hits, but for some reason when I'm sitting drinking at the bar or when I'm sitting down on the toilet, that's when ideas just start bombarding my head. So I can completely believe that the freedoms that you and I share came to somebody while sitting at the bar jotting down notes. All the freedoms that we enjoy today, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, the freedom to express yourself, the freedom of religion, the freedom to assemble, the freedom to express yourself, the right to bear arms. Well, that's an amendment. That's not really the Declaration of Independence. But you get what I mean. All of these ideas that we have in America, all of these things that we enjoy, all came to you from a guy sitting at the damn bar. Right? Just think about that. Think about that. Salud. All right. Release the pressure. Don't get me wrong, though. Even though parts of the Declaration of Independence were written at a tavern in Philadelphia, where Will Smith was born and raised, on a playground where he spent most of his days, those guys were also doing snuff. Think about that. As much as we shame alcoholics and coke addicts, the founding fathers were coke addicts that drunk and had cockfights. Don't let the fact that they established the entire foundation of a country take you away from the fact that these dudes got drunk, they bought prostitutes, they cheated on their wives, they had all kind of STDs, they sniffed blow. Like, these guys were raw. That's the part of history that people don't tell you. The founding fathers were raw. They were raw dogging women. They were like Benjamin Franklin was a raw dude. He's on a $100 bill. This dude was having sex with slaves. He was sniffing blow. He was smoking weed. He was out there wilding. Thomas Jefferson, George, all of them, they were wilding out. They don't tell you that in history because they want you to believe that these were like these upstanding gentlemen, which they were. They were cool people. They were cool people, but they were still wilding. And that's why I hate it when we try to make the distinction where somebody has to be political and presidential and wear these ties. No, man. The founding fathers were raw like the average American citizen. You know what I mean? It was, snuff is rough and stuff. Yeah, tobacco. They actually, the tobacco fields in the South, right? They were actually, that's how like cultivation got started. So in the South, they had like a bunch of tobacco plants, but the tobacco land was getting raw because they didn't replenish it, and that was the first like climate change type deal where the tobacco farmers figured out, wait, yo, yeah, you go ahead, you go ahead, yeah, no, go ahead. I know they're tired of hearing me talk. All right. If I was fighting war all the time, so yeah. Wasn't really the Revolutionary War Luke's talking about. Which is all chronicled in the harrowing tale called Hamilton. All right. Yeah, the rotation of the cross. So the tobacco land got all plowed out. They couldn't do anything about it. Whatever. So they finally realized, wait, maybe we should plant more tobacco so they can grow later. All right, so you've reached the question and answer period of Q&A. I think they're tired of hearing me talk over there at the bar. They want to listen to the music and drink beer. So, yeah, I'm about to wrap this up soon. But if you have any questions, let me know. You have this much. Hey, Patty. All right, John, you be cool. Try to be here Saturday. You know, I do my day drinkers on Saturday, but I do them around 3 o'clock. I will be safe. I got my designated driver sitting over there. Right there. Nope, no questions. Where do you drink? Oh, I am at Paradise Sports Bar, 5128 LaPelco Boulevard in Marrero, Louisiana, on the West Bank. Yeah. Anybody else? All right. Got this much time left. Once I finish this beer, we're wrapping it up. But if you're at work right now, yep, Saturday 3 o'clock, around 3 o'clock. I'm gonna say exactly 3 o'clock, but around 3 o'clock. It depends how long it takes me from to get to the studio. Because I'm on the air between 11 and 3. I used to do day drinkers at 1 o'clock, 12 noon, 1 o'clock, something like that. But they switched my on-air schedule to where I'm on the air Saturdays on Biden 5.7, 11 to 3. So I can't get here till after 3. Yep. Any other questions? You got this much time left. Here we go. All right, well, I guess that's it. About to knock this back. Oh, Aubrey came late. All right. This has been the National Day Drinking Edition. All right, John, y'all be cool. Everybody be cool. Be safe. I will be here Saturday around 3 o'clock Central Time. Now, we have to establish a crew of Coleman. I need a fan base. Let your friends know that this is an awesome live stream and they can get it on Biden 95.7's Facebook page. And the concept is really simple. I just get drunk and talk a bunch of nonsense and interact with you guys in front of your face. You ask me questions, I respond to it. You know, we talk about interesting subjects. Current events, whatever. But we do it while we drink. How easy is that? You guys be cool. I will see you on Saturday around 3 o'clock Central Time after I get off the air on Bite 95.7, 11 to 3. Bing.